Today at 5 on the Channel 4 News.
Not guilty.
O.J. Simpson in open court, but behind closed doors. The L.A. County Grand Jury in session. At 5, what they're looking at, the crime scene, the evidence, and details on the mystery witness. Then you watched it unfold. O.J. Simpson on the run, cops in pursuit. Now the inside story from the police command center. What the police did from the moment he disappeared to the moment he was finally arrested. Coverage you can count on today at 5.
And Fritz is here now on this last day of spring. Although it doesn't feel like it, it feels like we've been in
Just the
summer.
last day of spring?
Yeah.
All about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right on that case. Well, it is, but it feels exactly as it should for this time of year. And we'll keep it locked into this pattern until the end of the week. Then we'll fire it up a little bit to celebrate the first week of summer. We'll blaze away for a couple of days. Now to our Mount Wilson cam, folks. Our Mount Wilson cameraman poised up there every day just to give us a shot of the inversion layer, which takes about 3 minutes, and he spends the rest of the day watching the migration habits of deer up there. And here, look, that we're panning the vista. This is an inversion at about, what, 4,000 feet? Not bad today. Smog is not quite as bad as it could be. And really, this is the pattern for the rest of the week. Very little marine layer only at the beach. Here are the numbers to show you tonight. We had a high of 82, low 63. Right now, downtown has a temperature of 81, 28% relative humidity. Barometric pressure is falling this hour, 29.97 inches. South winds at 8 miles an hour at Burbank Airport. Normal high 79. Normal low 62. The sun up tomorrow morning at 5:47 and setting again at 8:07. There should be sunshine just all day long inland tomorrow. Well, this is a typical pattern. It's a weak onshore flow. Not strong enough to cool off the inland areas, just strong enough to bring patchy low clouds, the minor marine layer incidents along the beach clearing out by about mid-morning. All day sunshine inland and temperatures in the warmest valley spots 90 plus for the remainder of the week. We'll leave this thing just as it is until about Friday. Then high pressure will build over us, and the stronger it gets, the less onshore flow and marine influence it allows, and so we fire it up. We'll be up close to 90 degrees by Saturday downtown. That means mid and upper 90s in the warmest valley spots, but that's 3 or 4 days away, and we can be in total denial about it until it arrives. Now, nationally, heavy showers and thunder showers throughout at least 3/4 of the country. Look at this mess today. And there was a lot of rain, too. 2 to 3 inches in the northern plains over through the upper Mississippi Valley. As a matter of fact, Minnesota had 5 inches of rain scattered throughout there in some areas. We have that monsoonal flow in the desert southwest. This is the southerly flow of moist, unstable tropical air that is very typical of summertime in the inland areas. As a matter of fact, western Arizona had some heavy thunderstorms, and some of those rain showers crept into Imperial County, the far inland areas, far eastern areas. So be on the lookout, you desert folks. You're familiar with it if you're down there in the Coachella Valley, that thunderstorms could happen in the afternoon hot spots. Water spouts, western coastline of Florida today popping up, nothing touching down. Still hot and muggy throughout the whole southeastern quarter of the nation in the mid-Atlantic states. As a matter of fact, mid-90s, upper 90s in some spots, at least 80s throughout all of the nation. The only record today was 97 in Columbus, but heat index in the whole eastern half of the country up to 110. Let's look at the air quality and healthful smog levels. Inland, that's typical. Same for the moderate smog in Orange County, downtown to the beach. Even San Fernando, Santa Clarita Valley getting a break today. Good air only in the Big Bear Lake area. Overnight tonight we'll be in the low to mid-60s at warmest, 63 along the LA and Orange County beaches. Mid-50s up north in Santa Barbara and Ventura County along the beach. 59 in the Santa Clarita Valley. Highs tomorrow, upper 80s to low 90s. And I think you'll see these highs duplicated every day through at least Friday. 70 at the beach with mid-morning clearing. It'll be beautiful. Morning clouds and fog. The marine layer stuff relegated only to the immediate coastline. Mid-morning clearing. Temperatures above normal but stable. And then we're going to fire it up for Friday and Saturday. This could be a real summertime beach weekend. So that should do it.
All righty.
See you next time.
We accept. Thank you. Now that O.J. Simpson has been arraigned, what is next? Well, today at 4:30, Simpson's attorney begins to lay the groundwork for his case. Plus, why O.J. did not turn himself in.
Charges that were read are charges that are going to be contested, and his plea is not guilty.
Then the anatomy of a chase. Now police and their phone call to the driver of the white Bronco.
911, what are you reporting?
This is AC. I have OJ in the car.
Okay, where are you?
Please, I'm coming up the 5 freeway.
Okay.
Also coming up, O.J.'s letter to his fans. You heard one of his close friends read it. Coming up, one expert looks at what it says about Simpson and his relationship with his ex-wife. O.J. Simpson appeared to wince as a judge reads the murder charge against him. The fallen superstar, now a murder defendant. His plea, not guilty. Hello again, I'm Chuck Henry.
I'm Kathy Vara, in today for Kelly Lang. We begin again at 4:30 with the arraignment of O.J. Simpson on murder charges. The story that played itself out on the L.A. freeways last Friday moved into the courtroom today. Here now is the latest. Simpson pleaded not guilty. A preliminary hearing is set for June 30th. Prosecutors won't confirm or deny that a grand jury is also hearing the case. In Chicago, police have resumed their search for a murder weapon. Fernell Chapman is live at the L.A. County Central Jail downtown. He has the very latest. Fernell?
Well, O.J. Simpson is in an area of the L.A. County Jail here that inmates refer to as death row. He has his own cell, a 7 by 9 foot area, right down the hall from the jail's psychiatric unit. O.J. Simpson remains under a suicide watch by jail personnel, and his lawyer says Simpson is having lots of difficulty breathing. Not only breathing, but especially sleeping. The NFL Hall of Famer made
live in Southern California, this is Channel 4 News at 5:30.
You are now looking at a live picture of the men's Central Jail in Los Angeles. O.J. Simpson is facing his 4th night there in isolation. But while he is inside, his attorney is working, gathering evidence and information, and plotting Simpson's defense. Good evening once again. I'm Paul Moyer.
And I'm Colleen Williams. And our top story here at 5:30 today. In court this morning, Simpson's attorney Robert Shapiro asked the judge for access to the coroner's report. The police ordered it sealed, but Channel 4 News has learned that Shapiro made a visit to the coroner this afternoon. Now, that coroner's report will be crucial to the investigation of what happened here at the condo belonging to O.J. Simpson's ex-wife. It will show how the victims died. Our Patrick Healy is standing by live at the coroner's office right now with more on that part of the story. Patrick?
Well, Colleen, this happened just a short time ago and just barely half a mile from where O.J. Simpson is in custody. His attorney, Robert Shapiro, came here with a forensic expert, their expert from the state of New York, a nationally renowned expert, Dr. Michael Baden, to the coroner's office to pick up the crucial documents. We are told by the coroner's office that they spent 50 minutes inside with the coroner himself, Dr. Satyava Giswaran, who turned over the files, the protocols, basically everything that the police department and the district attorney have, the defense now has copies of. Now, these are photographs taken just in the past 45 minutes. That is Dr. Baden arriving at the coroner's office with Shapiro, the attorney. Baden has a national reputation for handling prominent, crucial homicide cases. John Belushi, he reviewed the death of Dr. Martin Luther King, of Medgar Evers. The list goes on. Now, as you indicated, Colleen and Paul, the coroner's information, the autopsy reports, they could be crucial to this case. At this point, the defense is not even conceding that O.J. Simpson was present at the time of the deaths. The coroner's autopsy may have evidence that links Simpson to the 2 deaths. Furthermore, the autopsy may provide insight into the scenario of the murder, the mindset of the killer, and that could be crucial in deciding in a court of law whether this becomes a first-degree murder case or a manslaughter case, which carries much less severe a penalty. In fact, there have been cases in which manslaughter has resulted only in probation. So, very crucial information. 50 minutes here at the coroner's office. The defense now has it, a crucial bit of information as they put together their case. Reporting live from the coroner's office in downtown, Patrick Healy, Channel 4 News. Paul and Colleen.
All right, Patrick, thank you very much for that live report. You have heard us mention a lot here the special section of the county jail in which O.J. Simpson is residing at the moment. It is called the 7,000 unit. It is 9 by 7 cells. You get your meals inside the cell. You're allowed outside only twice a day, 1 visitor a day, with the exception of the attorney and psychiatrist. Having said that, Fernell Chapman's at the jail to tell us more about what it's like for O.J. Simpson. Fernell.
Well, actually, where Simpson is right down the hall from the psychiatric unit of the jail here at the county jail downtown. O.J. Simpson remains here under a suicide watch, and his lawyer says Simpson is having lots of depression and sleeplessness and really needs to be re-examined by his own personal physician. The NFL Hall of Famer says he is innocent. In fact, that's what he indicated as 2 counts of murder were read to him during a brief arraignment in court today. Simpson appeared to be very deeply depressed, seemingly in kind of a trance as he listened to the murder charges filed against him. He pleaded officially not guilty. Later, his lawyer, defense attorney, held a news conference saying a nationwide search is now underway to recruit the very best legal team and experts available That team, of course, will be handled by Century City Attorney Robert Shapiro. O.J., meanwhile, remains in custody here at the county jail. He is being held without bail, and his next court appearance could be sometime late next week. Live from the county jail, I'm Fernell Chapman. Paul, Colleen?
All right, Fernell, turning now to the Simpson-Goldman murders themselves. What kind of psychological rage could have pushed a person to this point, and why? How could anyone commit such a crime? Here with some of the answers to our questions is our medical editor, Dr. Bruce Hensel. Dr. Bruce?
Yes, Colleen, as we've pointed out time and time again, O.J. Simpson has not been convicted of anything at this point. But whoever committed this crime either did not care or did not think about consequences. And we know that rage, whether from imaginary causes or real events, is often the thing which puts them over the edge. The crime scene itself is testament to the violence which killed Nicole Simpson and Ronald Goldman. While O.J. Simpson is charged with the murders, he is innocent until proven guilty. Experts say this type of crime could be carried out by anyone who reacted violently to a feeling of helplessness.
Basically, these are people who look to the world around them to validate them, and when that doesn't happen, they respond with anger, with frustration and rage that they're not getting what they need from the world.
While that feeling can lead to spousal abuse, detectives consider all possibilities. They know it can be directed at strangers as well. The vigil continues here outside O.J.'s house here in Brentwood. Many of the people who have gathered here believe he is innocent. Well, he may well be. But as the trial and the investigation moves forward, many experts may be called to testify as to what type of person could commit such a crime. The main focus is on people who react to their emotions without thinking about consequences.
In a situation like this, there may be so much rage that people lose the ability to think effectively, that they think and act almost at the same time, at times with disastrous outcomes.
Whether or not Simpson committed the crimes, he frightened many people by leading the police on a lengthy chase Friday. But that in itself does not mean he's guilty.
We have an individual who is used to running, who runs very effectively, who finds holes in lines that no one else can see, who now finds their life unraveling moment by moment. He has no place to go. There is no place he can really run to.
As you know, Simpson was arraigned today. The whole world is witnessing his pain. The answers, which the victims' families pray for, who did it and why, will have to wait for the trial and the ongoing investigation. Paul, back to you.
Dr. Bruce, in this pattern of spousal abuse, is it common for the abuser to be very charming and everybody thinks he's a great guy other than the times that he is doing the abusing?
Well, it's not more common than less common. It's not unusual for the abuser to seem like a very, very nice person. It's only in private when this frustration, this feeling of helplessness hits that the rage takes over. The point is, it is possible to seem nice and normal all the time and react that way to rage, but it's not the rule.
Dr. Bruce Hensel, we thank you. The past 7 days have seen some of the most remarkable and unbelievable stories in Los Angeles history. Jess Marlowe tries to put some perspective on those events in tonight's commentary. Jess?
Paul, that formal arraignment of O.J. Simpson in connection with the murders of his ex-wife and a male friend is a realization of the worst fears for those who knew and loved O.J. Simpson, even for those who didn't know but simply admired him. Earlier, his flight to avoid being taken into custody dashed hopes of those who'd refused to believe Simpson could even be considered as the man who'd committed such a hideous crime. Their hero had become a fugitive. Their faith had been betrayed. Simpson's running failed others, too, including his attorney and the authorities who decided not to keep Simpson in custody when they had him handcuffed at his home shortly after he'd returned from his flight to Chicago. The rationale was that police knew where Simpson would be, that they could pick him up at any time after completing their investigation, and that no one so universally recognizable is any flight risk. But then, in a surreal spectacle we all saw, a man acclaimed for his running was being chased, and the hero had become the hunted. But perhaps, as a woman viewer reminded us, we erred in assigning hero status to O.J. Simpson. His image as a hero was shattered, she admonished us, and with some justification, when details of his wife beating were revealed anew. And this morning on Good Morning America, Simpson's friend and fellow NFL alum Jim Brown talked about O.J. Simpson having a cocaine problem, tarnishing the hero image even further. But these are side issues that neither mitigate the tragedy nor ease the grief of those whose lives have been altered forever by the murders. Nor do they prevent us lamenting the turn O.J. Simpson's life has taken. And taken together, these are the ingredients of what we now describe without exaggeration as a great American tragedy. I'm Jess Marlowe. That's what I think.
All right, Jess, thank you very much. Still ahead here, the new woman in O.J. Simpson's life. He wrote about her in the letter he released to the world. The story behind their relationship coming up.
And the vandalism that led to an American teenager being caned in Singapore. We'll tell you why he's getting ready to party tonight. Coming up. When that letter written by O.J. Simpson was read to the public last week, he listed the names of some of his closest friends, which he wanted to thank. One of those friends was this woman. He referred to her in the letter as Paula. Who is she, and what is her relationship to O.J. Simpson? Diane D is at the county jail tonight. She has those answers about the mysterious woman. Diane?
Paul, right after the murders, there was so much talk about O.J. Simpson's recent reconciliation efforts with his ex-wife, Nicole, that the mention of another woman in that letter actually came as somewhat of a surprise, and everybody immediately wanted to know all about Paula.
This is the mystery woman, the Paula O.J. Simpson talked to directly in his public letter. Paula Barbieri, nickname Polo. She was his date at a black-tie charity event in Bel Air last Saturday night, just one night before the brutal murders of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman. And Paula was clearly on O.J. Simpson's mind on that day that he wrote 3 letters, at first thought to be suicide notes. One was read out loud by Simpson's close friend, Robert Kardashian, during the very tense hours when Simpson was missing last Friday afternoon.
Paula, what can I say? You are special. I'm sorry we're not going to have our chance. God brought you to me. I now see, as I leave, you'll be in my thoughts.
Paula Barbieri is a model and budding actress. She's seen in this photo with O.J. Simpson all the way back in 1992 at the U.S. Open Golf Championships. She has appeared in Vogue magazine and Victoria's Secret catalogs. Her agent denies that she was romantically linked to Simpson and says she does not want to make any public comment, does not want to get involved.
Her agent is quoted as saying that Barbieri was shocked by the mention of her in that letter and actually shocked by the entire Simpson ordeal. When he described the relationship for a newspaper, he said it's like being brother and sister between those two. And though everyone tries to insinuate that something's going on, that in fact is not the case. Reporting live from the men's jail in downtown Los Angeles, I'm Diane Diaz. Back to you, Colleen.
Thanks, Diane. Right now, our Wendy Takuda is in the newsroom with a look at what's coming up tonight at 6. Wendy?
Hi, Colleen. We're going to have complete coverage of the O.J. Simpson story, his court appearance, the grand jury. And we will also go live to Chicago, where police are conducting a more thorough search now of the area around the hotel where Simpson stayed. Also, tragedy at an Air Force base in the Northwest. A gunman goes on the rampage. 3 people are dead. Many others are hurt. Those stories and more tonight at 6. Colleen and Paul, we'll look for you then.
Okay, Wendy, thank you. We will see you. Up next for us, the whole world was watching. We're talking about the amazing chase on Friday night. Coming up, the LAPD officers in charge of that pursuit and the arrest.
But first tonight, it's sports. The World Cup's most exciting team makes its debut. A lot going on in the sports world today. We have soccer and we have golf.
So we'll tee it up. The course, the top competitor during today's 3-way playoff of the U.S. Open. Mighty Oakmont had Colin Montgomery for breakfast, Lauren Roberts for lunch, and Ernie Els for dinner. But after an extra 18 holes, it still wasn't over. Near Pittsburgh, South African Ernie Els could have used a weed whacker rather than a 9-iron to beat the course. Els started off ugly. First hole looked like Paul Moyer on a good day.
Oh, please.
Els began with a bogey and a triple bogey. How about Scotland's Colin Montgomery? Playing at the 3rd hole, still playing at the 3rd hole. He was out of it on the front 9. Then there was American Lauren Roberts. He played it like Julia Roberts. Nice shank to the right of the green, put him in deeper trouble at 5. Run for your lives, the golf was frightening. Actually, everybody ran for a sudden death playoff between Roberts and Els after 18 holes. Second hole of sudden death, the 24-year-old Els made the par putt to become the first foreign-born Open winner since David Graham in '81.
You know, I've always wanted to win a major, and it's come pretty quick for me. I'm 24 years old, so people just got to be patient with me. I think after this tournament, you know, I've got a long stretch ahead of me, and I'm just not going to try and put too much pressure on me, but I'm really going to enjoy this.
He should. Despite their 30-40 record, the Angels could be in first place by week's end because they open a homestand tonight against the Mariners, followed by the Rangers, who arrive Thursday. Angels 2.5 behind first place Texas. Dodgers play the Padres tonight at Jack Murphy Stadium. Yesterday, Mike Piazza continued his impressive season at the plate with a grand slam to put away the Rockies 7-3. Even better, 11 of Piazza's 15 homers have come with men on base.
I mean, I just know from catching, when you get guys on base, you know, you have to come in there. You can't afford to keep putting guys on, because eventually, you know, it's like I said, someone's going to take advantage of that.
Piazza knocked in 5 runs, including the 6th-inning single scoring Brett Butler. He thinks Piazza doesn't get enough credit.
The kid's having fun, and they make comments about Ken Griffey Jr. and him being the best player. Like I said, I haven't played with a guy that hits the ball as hard and as far as Piazza does, and he makes the game look easy.
Dodgers lead the West by 4 over the Rockies and 5.5 over the Giants. Finally, the World Cup favorites, Brazil, took center stage in their debut against Russia. Based on today's game, the Brazilians indeed deserve to be the front runners. Huge Brazilian contingent on hand at Stanford Stadium. Brazil in goal dominated the first half, led by stars Romario and Bebeto. On the corner kick, Bebeto kicked to Romario, who used some nifty footwork to score 1-0 Brazil. Goal! Goal! Well, it sounds like a goal. Second half, Brazil continued to dominate. Rai on the tournament's first penalty kick beat Dimitri Harin, and you know what that means. Goal! We hope the announcer has some lozenges. Brazil beat Russia 2-0. The U.S. plays Colombia Wednesday at the Rose Bowl. That's it.
Sounds like Harry Carey after the Cubs win.
Yeah, after the Cubs win, and it's been a long game.
This has. All right, Fred, thanks. Still to come here, the key to the case against O.J. Simpson might be found in Chicago. At 6, what investigators in the Windy City may have found.
And coming up next right here, the top brass of the LAPD who are in charge of ending the pursuit and bringing O.J. Simpson in.
Oh, we're okay, but you got to tell the police to just back off. He's still alive, and he got a gun to his head.
That is the sound of the freeway chase that stunned the nation Friday night. Sports legend O.J. Simpson on the run from the law in the back of a white Bronco. As you know, the chase ended peacefully, with O.J. Simpson arrested at his Brentwood home hours later. The arrest coming with the aid of the L.A. SWAT team. It is a tough and a very dangerous job. Tracy Savage has details in a live report from Parker Center tonight. Tracy?
Well, Paul, while people across the country sat glued to their TV sets last Friday night, the LAPD was in the midst of a very tough job. It had to first find O.J. Simpson and then arrest him, knowing all the while that the wrong tactical move could result in lost lives. Now, today I talked with 2 top LAPD leaders who were basically running the show during those long, tense hours. It was all going on here at Parker Center, 3 floors up. The 3rd floor, Parker Center, LAPD Robbery Homicide Division. Today, a room full of investigators, but on Friday, it was so much more. This office became the command post where the key tactical decisions were being made as the O.J. Simpson drama unfolded. One of the top LAPD leaders calling the shots in that office, Commander John White, a 28-year veteran with the LAPD.
You would have seen several people in small group discussions about contingency planning, people on telephones giving direction and orders to other units in the department, radio traffic between the command post down there and the field units and the SWAT elements.
A lot of things happening at one time.
There always are in command post operations.
It was all underway by the time the public heard this announcement.
The Los Angeles Police Department right now is actively searching for Mr. Simpson.
What did you do?
Well, then we're confronted with a situation where we have a fugitive on our hands, and we instituted procedures to effect his arrest.
Captain William Gartland is in charge of the Robbery Homicide Division. He says in his 39 years with the LAPD, he has never seen a case quite like this one. The LAPD responded well.
Well, the atmosphere then is not one of panic or being upset or distressed. It's a matter of getting down to the business. Forget about Friday and forget about Saturday and get down to the business of getting all the evidence that's been gathered, putting it in the proper format, and hope for that prosecution.
Back here live for people watching at home, it was an extraordinary sight, but believe it or not, the LAPD says it was a routine operation. It's what the officers are trained for. At Parker Center, I'm Tracy Savage reporting live. Back to you.
All right, Tracy, thank you. Coming up next here, they could be the key clues in the O.J. Simpson investigation. Police in Chicago looking for a murder weapon. What they found next.
And the American teenager sentenced to be caned while he's coming home. That's next.
19-year-old Michael Fay, the American teenager who was flogged in Singapore, is a free man tonight. Last September, Fay was convicted of vandalism, then flogged, fined, and put in jail. U.S. critics thought the punishment did not fit the crime here. Fay's hometown of Kettering, Ohio, is preparing a low-key homecoming on Thursday.
We're just basically going to let him breathe and enjoy being home.
Again, Fay was released from jail just a short time ago. Understandably said he was glad to be out. That wraps it up for us right now. Paul?
All right, Colleen, we thank you for making us your choice for news at 5 o'clock. The 6 o'clock news will continue. We'll start right now.